from you.
I want to talk to you about the second greatest thing in the world. Faith. Now, the greatest thing in the world is love. And the third greatest thing is hope. And we can't handle them all in one talk. Real faith, that is faith in depth. Faith that you really believe, that you'll stake your life on. Real faith, not some dilettante, theological, intellectual assent to something, but real, rugged, powerful faith works wonders. Now that is not merely a blithe, optimistic assertion. This statement is predicated on a factual base. Because I've known people who really had it rough, and their faith held them up. Not long ago, I was invited by the governor of Kentucky, a longtime friend of mine, the Honorable John Y. Brown, to go down to Frankfurt, the capital city of the Bluegrass State, and participate in a program put on a certain day which he had proclaimed as a day of prayer for Kentucky. Now, I married Governor Brown to Phyllis George, and then I baptized their baby. So I was glad to go down there because I really love these people. The governor's helicopter met me at the Cincinnati airport, and I flew in the helicopter 60 miles to Frankfurt, over one of the most beautiful terrains in the world, the bluegrass region of Kentucky. It was now covered with snow. But the mile after mile of white fences were in evidence, and the stone walls after the fences left off. And one could see those Kentucky bluegrass mountain mansions which in the summertime are hidden by trees up long driveways. White pillared mansions against the white hills. It's a beautiful area, and I knew it very well as a boy. And I went to the governor's house where I bounced his little Lincoln on my knee. Then we took the helicopter down to the Capitol building. Seemed like you slid downhill to the Capitol. And the governor was holding Lincoln, who by now had gone to sleep, in his arms. And I said to him, I wonder how the first governor of Kentucky came down to the Capitol. On a horse. And there were several thousand people present. It was a very spiritual kind of meeting. The governor and his wife took the little baby into the meeting, which just isn't done in all these sophisticated Eastern places. You never see a governor with a baby at a gathering. Maybe they haven't got any babies, I don't know. But while the governor was speaking, the baby set up an enormous howl. And the governor said, "Am I that bad?" And the governor's wife took the governor's baby out. It was all so homey, so American, so down to earth. And what I'm really working up to was my fellow speaker on this program, a man named Colonel David Rader, one of the American hostages, second in command from a military sense in that group, a graduate of DePaul University in Indiana, brought up as a Methodist. He told me he almost became a Methodist minister, but he was fascinated by aeronautics, and he became a colonel in the Air Force. He was in solitary confinement in Vietnam for 4 successive times. One time he was in solitary for 64 days, not knowing what was going on, not knowing whether the future meant life or death. Man would shove him in a little food. That was all. No contact with any other human being. I said, "How did you handle it?" He said, "You know, when I was a student, I was a very liberal, far-out thinker. But now all of the superficialities of American life had disappeared. I was down to basics. And I talked to God, and He listened to me. And He said, I want to tell you, sir, I was never alone one single minute. I drew upon my faith, and my faith worked the wonder of a supportive fellowship." Now, this is where you really test faith under such circumstances as this. And the Bible becomes verified if you can believe. That's sometimes hard to believe. Sometimes people come at it very, very great difficulty. If you can believe, nothing is impossible to him that believeth. That's what it says. That's what Colonel Rader found to be absolutely true. So when you are up against it, as you will be sometime, if indeed you're not right now, you will be, you can figure on that. Just remember, real faith works wonders. It helps people to do great things in the world, for one thing. If you call the roll of the great figures of human history, or the great figures now existent in American business and industrial life, you'll find almost invariably that they're people of faith. They believe in God. They believe in their country. They believe in themselves. Now, I've had the privilege of traveling a good deal, and